This is a continuation video of how I made this beautiful trendy top and skirt. So please watch to the end, like, share and subscribe to my channel so you can enjoy more videos like this. But first, let me start by introducing myself. Hi, my name is Lilian of Lilian Fashion Lounge, and I talk about everything fashion, pattern drafting, online and physical tutoring and many more. So let's get started. So in the last video, we stopped where I cut the 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 basic skirt, the material for the basic skirt. So we're going to move to the, the cutting of the lining. So as you can see, all I had to do was just place my ankara and my pattern on my material. Then I'll pin it down and cut accordingly. To cut the lining, you're going to cut the you're going to fold the main fabric into you're going to fold it twice. Now the 2.5 inches that we added at the hem of the skirt, we're going to fold it two times. Then after folding it, while cutting the lining, you're going to add only half inch after the hem of the skirt. You're going to add only half inch after folding your main fabric into by two. Then you add half inch for the lining. So while sewing, the skirt is going to be equal. So I'm going to do the same thing for the top. I'm going to cut the lining for the top also. This opportunity to inform you that registration is currently ongoing in Lillian's Fashion Academy. So if you are interested in learning more about fashion or you want to advance in your fashion career and we are based in Ibadan, this is the right time for you to register and learn more about fashion. So if you're interested, I'm going to be leaving my number in the comment section so that you can send me a message on WhatsApp and make more inquiry. I'll be waiting for your messages. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the front also. So I'm going to be adding a playlist. I'm going to be adding a playlist on this side of the video, on the right side of my video, so you can watch how to draft the basic sleeve, the basic skirt and a basic body. So if you're interested, just click on the link and watch so you can understand. So for this sleeve, I'm going to be adding a little bit at the hem, and that is because of, according to the style that I showed at the beginning of this video, the sleeve is not fitted. So I'm going to be adding a little at the hem of this. So after cutting my sleeve, the next thing to do is to start sewing. So I'm going to start with sewing the skirt, which is the easiest part. So as you can see at the hem here, I folded the main fabric into two. Then the lining, after folding it, what was remaining was the lining. I added half inch. So, and that's how it is supposed to be. So I'm going to go ahead and start by sewing the front of the skirt. So the half inch I added on the lining is what I'm going to use to sew the hem of the skirt. So I'm going to be sewing half inch at the hem. Then I'm going to come back and show you how I'm going to sew the side. So So after sewing the hem, the main fabric will definitely be longer than the lining. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull the lining, you're going to pull it to the edge of the main fabric, as you can see me do here. Don't forget that this is the back. You're using the wrong side of the both the main fabric and the lining. So I'm going to go ahead after sewing, after pulling it, I'm going to go and sew it on the side by half inch. That's, I'm going to be joining the lining and the fabric together using half inch seam line. So in order to confirm the main measurement, I went ahead to measure it just to show you guys that is still going to go back to the normal length, which is what I measured in the initial, which was what I used the initial measurement. So I'm going to go ahead and join and do the same thing for the back. Then I am going to be adding my zip to the back, to the center back. So to add my zip to the center back, I'm going to be marking out 1 inch, which was what I used. Don't forget that what we added for zip allowance was 1.5 inches, but I've already used half inches to join the lining and the main fabric. So what is remaining is 1 inch. So I'm going to be adding the 1 inch. But before that, the first thing we are going to do is to first of all measure our slit. Now, if because the skirt is short, you might decide not to add your slit, but I decided that I'm going to be adding a slit. So I use 5 inches for the slit. Then from there I started marking my 1 inch for the joining of both backs. So after joining it, I'm going to go ahead and mark 1 inch of on each side of the skirt. Then I'll take it to my machine and join my zipper to the center back of the skirt. So after joining the back, as you can see here, I've joined the back. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to join both the front and the back together. So I'm just going to place them on top of each other, then pin it down. After pinning down, then I'm going to measure the necessary measurement. I'm going to be marking the necessary measurement. Then I'll take it to my machine to sew it down. So as you can see here, I've gone ahead to sew it, and as you can see, it is very neat. And so the next thing I'm going to be doing is to join the band to the skirt. Now, to join the band to the skirt, we have already cut our band, so which is our exact waist, which my exact weight is 33 inches. So I'm going to be adding extra 1.5 inches for the overlapping of the back, so in order to or button, depending on what you want to use. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to do is to pin it down. I'll pin it down on the wrong side. Then I'm going to take it to the machine and sew the edges. I'm going to sew the edge of the band first, the edges of the band first, then before sewing it down before sewing the band. So after sewing it down like that, then I'm going to fold it. As you can see here, I'm going to fold it to the front. Then I'm going to be folding it on to the front on 1/2 inch. Please, when you're doing this, please be careful. This is going to be the neatness of our skirt, so you have to be very, very careful while sewing this, and you're going to need a lot of pains for this. So you're going to be folding it on 1/2 inch, then you sew it on the wrong side of the skirt. So after sewing, this is the result. As you can see how neat this is. So I'm going to go ahead to start sewing the top. So for the top, we're going to start with the back, which is the easiest one to sew. So I'm going to be starting with the easiest one. So I'm going to separate all my patterns, the fabric and the lining. Then after separating, I will start by sewing the main fabric. Now to sew the main fabric, you're going to first of all sew the center back. After sewing the center back, then you sew the darts. That's the darts at the side. You're going to be sewing that. You are going to do that for the main fabric, and you're also going to do it for the lining. So after sewing it, I'm going to go ahead and join them together, the main fabric and the lining together after ironing. So the first one I'm going to be sewing is the neck. So I'm going to go ahead and sew the neck on half inch. I've joined the main fabric and the lining together and sew on half inch. Then I'm going to go ahead and top stitch. So after top stitching, I'll sew the side and the hem also on half inch. So the hem, while sewing the hem, it is very important for you to top stitch. It's going to make the lower part of the dress look neater. Going to prevent the lining from bulging under the main fabric. So we are going to start with sewing the front. After sewing the back, the next one we are going to be sewing is the front of our top. So to sew the front of our top, we are going to need to add interfacing. So the interfacing I added three different types of interfacing. I added stay, I added paper stay for the zip side because of the front. Then I also added breast pad. So I added breast pad. You can decide to use cup for yours, it does not matter. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do is to add my zip. As you can see, I did not join the lining first. What I did first was adding the zip. So after adding the zip, then I'm going to go ahead and join the lining. Now before I join the lining, where I altered the lower back of the front, I could not find the video, so I'm just going to explain it here. At the hem of the center front, you're going to come in at the center front by 2.5 inches. Don't forget that we added 2.5 inches for the zip allowance for the front. So I'm going to be taking 2 inches. I'll be marking 2 inches on both the main fabric and the lining. Then I'm going to measure my waist. Now I'll cut out the 2 inches from the hem to the waist to make a slant line. That was how the V shape that was gotten at the front, that was how it was gotten. I forgot where I got the video, so that's why I'm trying to explain it. So after doing that, I'm going to go ahead and join my lining, just as you can see me do here. I've joined my lining after adding the zip. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to join the front and the back together. Step to joining the front and the back together is to join the shoulder. Now you can decide to first of all overlock your material before doing this, but I did mine. I overlocked mine after joining the front and the back together. So after pinning the shoulder, I'm going to pin the sides also. Then I'm going to mark out my measurement, then before taking it to the sewing machine to sew it. after joining the front and the back bodies, next thing I'm going to be doing is to join the sleeve. Now for my own sleeve, I did not add lining, and that is because I am not comfortable with lining for my sleeve. So that's the reason why I did not add lining. But it is actually necessary for you to add your lining. So if you want to add lining to your sleeve, you have to add sewing allowance. That is the joining allowance for the lining and the main fabric. So which is supposed to be 1.5 inches for the hem. But because I'm not adding any lining, I used 1 inch for my sewing allowance for the hem. So I'm going to go ahead and join it on the half. I'll fold the hem, then I'm going to join both sleeve on 1 inch at the side. So I'm going to go ahead and join my sleeve to the main bodies, which I'm going to be using 1/2 inch also. This video. So if you have any questions for me, please leave it in the comment section. I'm going to be answering you in the comment section. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.